Welcome back to the Weekly Yap. Today we're talking about AI. Now, I know it's an over talked about topic, from Moist Critical talking about it, from tech YouTubers talking about it, to your grandma talking about it. Everyone's talking about it. But today, I just want to give my 2 cents on it. I work in the tech field and I consume a lot of internet shit. So overall, I think AI is a great thing, but also a dangerous thing. And you've probably heard that a million times. Now, why I think it's a good thing is for workflow stuff, not in replacing jobs. I don't think it is capable of doing that, even though we see companies trying to lean that way. I think what it's good for is more so helping in a workflow. For example, when I'm doing IT work, right? I use it as like an advanced Google search in which I am running into an issue that someone's having, and instead of scrubbing old forums from Reddit that lead nowhere and trying to find a solution that might take me around an hour to something that will take me a couple minutes. Now, I'm not saying it's 100% reliable. There has been plenty of times where I'm like, hey, how do I do this thing? Or how I'm having this issue, or I'm doing this thing and I'm getting this result, and it kind of just screws me. For example, when it comes to software, if you ask it a specific question about software, if it doesn't know the exact version and exact platform, it's going to give you most of the time wrong information. And there's other upsides to it, from helping in your workflow. And that's kind of where it should stay, as a tool, not a replacement for anybody, not a replacement for artists, music, or whatever. It has realistic applications, but you have companies going out of their way to use it in a unethical and malicious way, where it's a fix-all instead of a tool. Now, with that, the issues lie where the companies are using it. For example, you have AI deepfakes of celebrities undressed. You have AI propaganda, and especially with a war going on right now, that is the last thing we need. We have a ton of issues when it comes to job applications in the hiring process, from AI being used from the application level to AI being used at the combing through application level. There's less and less human interaction, and it's less and less human checks, and it's destroying the job market in a lot of ways. And on top of that, you see a ton of AI movies and AI films and AI videos, and it's like they were entertaining for a while, but like there's a reason why they're not taking off financially, and it's because no one really wants to see it. When Sora came out, you saw a huge bump in it, and then it died down like 3 or 4 weeks later after everyone kind of got it out of their system. And it was OpenAI's biggest push to try to make OpenAI profitable. And when it comes to the profitability, it's really looking like the bubble's going to pop. I don't know when, don't know how soon. Basically, you have a huge financial deal between the same 5 or 6 companies pushing around the same money and waiting for OpenAI or some of these AI companies to be profitable.
These are the 3 players we've introduced so far: OpenAI, Oracle, and NVIDIA. Let's just connect the dots here really quick. So, OpenAI doesn't build the data centers themselves. They can rent them from companies like Oracle. So OpenAI is the one that signed this deal, by the way. This $300 billion addition came from OpenAI signing a deal to rent some of their data centers. So they are going to give hundreds of billions of dollars to Oracle to rent their data centers. Oracle, when they have to build the data centers, because this is remaining performance, they're going to go to where? To NVIDIA. They're going to go and give that $300 billion to NVIDIA to buy the GPUs to build the data center. Now, there's one part missing. Where does OpenAI get the money to pay Oracle to pay NVIDIA? Where does this money come from? Because this is a big problem. Again, OpenAI has been searching for ways to finance their $1 trillion AI plan. They don't have the money now. Where did they get the money? And Sam Altman, when asked about it, said this: look, there's always a lot of focus on technological innovation. Everyone's talking about innovating technology, but what really drives progress is we figure out how to innovate finances, financial models. I don't think we figured out the final form of what financing for compute looks like. He wants financial innovation, okay? Well, let's introduce some financial innovation. How do we close this circle? Let's go back to the very first story we talked about. NVIDIA to invest $100 billion in OpenAI. Well, that would be a virtuous cycle. Because if NVIDIA is going to put money into OpenAI, which is going to rent servers from Oracle, which is going to build servers with NVIDIA chips, you've got yourself a real beautiful circle here. An infinite money glitch where all three companies can win. If it reminds you of this image, trust your instincts.
Right, so you have NVIDIA making a deal with OpenAI, which is making a deal with Oracle, and they all are making side deals with other companies on top of it to build these data centers. And leading to the data centers and talking about them, they bring in the huge issue. It brings in a huge problem for everyone who isn't in AI, and that's the RAM and hardware price increases. You can see RAM from a couple years ago going from like, you could get a 32 gig stick of DDR4 for like $100. And now, in some cases, depending on the type you get, it can go up to $1,000. And DDR5 was expensive when it came out, but it wasn't like that much. It was like for 16, it was $100. You know what I mean? And so it wasn't outrageous. Now it's like, oh my God, dude, it's also around 1,000 or 800 or 500, nowhere near where it should be. Now, with that, all of these companies, you're seeing companies that are in the RAM game completely stop making RAM chips for consumers, and now specifically making it for these data centers that haven't been built yet, have a ton of money supposedly going to, and is supposed to make money at a specific point, or else the whole bubble will guarantee pop. And the reason why everyone in the tech area will tell you it is a bubble and it will pop is due to the fact of previous bubbles. Something similar happened with the internet bubble, the social media bubble, the computer bubble. Like, basically, people put way too much money into something that they think is going to be this world-changing thing, and then what happens is the major companies pumping it basically can't make that money, and it deflates. Unfortunately, it follows a lot of job loss, a lot of hardship. And then what ends up happening is that reaches a stable market value. And I'm going to say I know everything about the market. I only am giving what I understand, and I barely understand it. So if you really are curious, I highly recommend looking into it. But with all this, it's frustrating to see that we have AI being thrown in everywhere. Like, you have an AI washer, you have an AI dryer, you have an AI vacuum, you have an AI smoothie maker. It's just, people are tacking it now on just because they think it's going to make it cost more. And now you're seeing the opposite. People are looking for things that don't require AI. To kind of move on to like the next major point is, since they're not really making money in the media sense, like when they tried with Sora and the, AI generating video app, you're seeing now it being used politically in very dangerous ways, from AI generated propaganda videos, from it being Russia propaganda to Iran propaganda to US propaganda. Basically, everyone is getting fed these AI propaganda videos to the point where, like, sometimes they believe it's real, sometimes they have seen it so many times, or they can tell it's AI, but there's been so much AI propaganda mixed in with maybe real propaganda that they're so desensitized to it that they don't pay attention. And when it comes to real events where something really happened and it was an AI, they don't take it at face value, unfortunately, and reasonably. They end up just pushing it aside and focusing on what is happening in front of them. Not only is there propaganda being done, the US government wants, I'm pretty sure, or wanted Anthropic, a AI company, to break basically their main two rules. No AI surveillance on US citizens, and no AI controlled killer drones. Okay, I understand that is a very hard list, and honestly, it's very selfish of them to have that. Now, obviously, I'm joking. That is fucking crazy, and our government is trying to blacklist them if they don't agree to it. Now, they ended up not agreeing to it, but the shitty thing is, you had OpenAI, you had Grok, and all these other AI companies trying to get that deal with the government because they're like, oh, there's the money. That's where it's meant, because we spend so much money on the military. They want that slice of pie, and with that, they want to take away the rights of people. And the problem is, right now, we're in such a crazy time where the government wants age verification. They want control over what you are doing with the bans on VPNs, and the fact they're willing to surveil their own citizens just in the name of stopping terrorists and protecting kids. Now, I feel like you can use the couple brain cells that everyone has and realize, wow, that doesn't seem like the main reason. You saw this with Edward Snowden during Obama's presidency, where he let everybody know he was a whistleblower and said, hey, we're able to hear and see what you're sending, what you're doing, and we're kind of spying on you. They labeled him basically a traitor, and then he had to run to Russia. Now, obviously it gets a little muddier, but like there's a good amount of evidence showing that it's just like, hey, he was just trying to warn us because he felt like, oh wow, this is wrong. And yeah, I honestly think that AI has gone really out of control in the sense of there's been little regulation, little rulemaking, and just unfiltered, unmanaged production of AI and how it's being used. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents. And with that, if you like this video, leave a like, put a comment, subscribe, stay hydrated, and with that, deuces.